Shirou took a deep gulp as he looked at the doors in front of him. Why? Because the doors in front of him was the doorway to Chaldea's casino, Casino Camelot. And the doors seemed to even give off an aura of authority. Wow. I still can't believe something like this ever existed. Shirou thought as his mind went back to what happened earlier. A few hours ago, Shirou was in his room, minding his own business as he was staring at his ceiling. When suddenly, he heard a voice from the other side of the door. "Shirou, do you mind if I come in?" the voice asked. That voice, Arturia? But which one? He thought as he raised himself from the bed he was laying on. "Sure. Just give me a moment," he said. As he walked towards the door, it opened by itself, revealing ruler Arturia. "Hey Arturia?" Shirou asked, while blushing a bit because of the bunny outfit he was still not getting used to. "Shirou, can I come in?" "Why yeah." Shirou then moved out of the way of the doorway to let ruler Arturia in his room. As the door closed behind them, Shirou then sat on the bed while ruler Arturia sat next to him. For a second, there was a moment of awkward silence between the two as they were trying to start a conversation but failed. Eventually, ruler Arturia started the conversation. Shirou, are you free for the next few days?" Ruler Arturia asked. "Well, I suppose so, but what for?" Ruler Arturia took a deep breath before saying, "Can you take Tristan's place for a few days at Casino Camelot?" Shirou was baffled. "What?" Ruler Arturia looked a little bit sad and said, "You don't want to?" Shirou shook his head. It's not that. It's just that, well, can you please explain what's going on?" "Well, Tristan was supposed to be on duty for being the bartender for tomorrow, but Master told him that he needed to go on a quest with him tomorrow." I see. Just one more question. Since when Chaldea had a casino?" "Oh, for a while now, Shirou. And don't worry, it was here before you got here." I see," Shirou said while relevating in the information he just received. "What the heck? Are you telling me that Chaldea not only has a mini mall of shops, but also a casino? And it's also named Casino Camelot. Seriously? How does Chaldea have everything in here? And it's in Antarctica for the root's sake." Shirou?" Ruler Arturia said, making him snap out of his mind rant. "HM? Oh, sorry, just processing some surprising information." "I can't blame you. This is the first time you ever heard of this after all." "No kidding. I mean, seriously, a casino in Chaldea? That's something I've never heard of until now," Shirou said with a chuckle. "Yeah," Ruler Arturia said with a smile. "Anyways, can you do that?" she asked with a bit of pleading in her voice while looking at him. Shirou smiled back. "Sure Arturia." Ruler Arturia smiled back. "Great. Thank you Shirou. Here are the directions to the casino just so that you won't get lost," she said before she handed him a map of where it is and left in a hurry, leaving Shirou behind. Shirou let out a small sigh. "I'm still not getting used to Arturia wearing a bunny suit." As ruler Arturia was in Chaldea's hallways, she came across Tristan along with the rest of the knights of the round in a room. Perfect, she thought as she came towards them. "Ah, my king, I see that Queen Shirou has listened to my request." "Yes, and he has accepted it." "Phew, now you don't have to worry about someone else making drinks for the patrons," Gawain said. "But asking Queen Shirou to do this, can Queen Shirou handle serving drinks to the patrons on this first time?" Tristan asked. "Huh? Are you questioning our king, Tristan?" Gawain asked. "Well no. I'm just worried. That is all. Relax Tristan, mother should be able to handle serving a few drinks or so. After all, he's the one responsible for feeding father and her alternate versions. So, he's got this in the bag." Mordred jokingly said with some laughter on the side. Ruler Arturia then bonked Mordred on the head. "Be quiet, Mordred." "Ow," she muttered while holding her head. Lancelot sighed. "Anyways, you don't have to worry about anyone screwing up your job while you're gone, Tristan." "Yeah. So, you can go ahead with Master on the quest without any worries or so," Bedivere said reassuringly. "See? Since everyone here has their trust placed in Queen Shirou, it means he can handle this job," Gareth said. After a moment of thinking, Tristan complied. "Well, if you all trust him, then I shall too." Ruler Arturia smiled. "Good. Back to the present. Well, here's the doorway to Casino Camelot. Still though, even though Arturia told me that it's been here for quite a while, I'm still surprised that something like this exists in Chaldea. Might need to ask Master what else lies in Chaldea later, so I won't be surprised later in the future." Shirou took a deep breath before resolving himself. "Well, here goes nothing," he thought as he opened the doors. As he opened the doors, he was appalled by how grand and lavish the interior was. The lobby was huge and seemingly modeled after a Roman temple or palace. The floor was made of pristine marble and granite, while the walls were similarly constructed but had incredibly detailed mosaics and frescoes. The ceiling was decorated in much the same way as the walls, and from it hung chandeliers of gold and crystal, casting a bright glow across the entire room. There were 2 sets of stars at either side of the room, leading up to a veranda up above from which anyone might be able to oversee the entire lobby, and Shirou could spy a few other servants already up there while holding glasses of various drinks in their hands. Set against the back wall was a long desk that appeared to be the reception desk, the entire thing in lavish wood, and over there Shirou saw Bedivere in his work wearing a tuxedo. In conclusion, the casino showed off incredible wealth in its decorations and construction. "Wow, this is quite extravagant. Just how is Chaldea able to fit all of that in here?" Shirou thought as he walked into the casino. That was when he heard a voice calling out to him. "Shirou!" Shirou turned around to see where the voice came from. The voice came from Ruler Arturia as she was coming over to Shirou wearing her usual outfit. "Arturia," Shirou said. "Shirou, I'm glad that you found the place. Anyways, would you follow me to the changing room?" "Sure." Shirou then followed Lancelot to the dressing room. As he got there, there were multiple stalls and racks of clothes hanging around. "So, what are we doing here?" he asked. Ruler Arturia then came out with measuring tape and said, "I'm going to measure you to see which suit size fits you better. Now hold still." Shirou stood still as Ruler Arturia measured his body size. After a few seconds, Ruler Arturia said, "Okay, I think we have a suit that fits your size. Just give me a moment to find it." She then went to the rack of clothes and checked to see which one matches Shirou's size. After a few seconds of checking, she found one. "Perfect," she exclaimed as he took it from the rack. "Shirou, wear this," she said while holding a suit and fake bunny ears. Shirou looked at the suit and fake bunny ears and said, "I have to wear this while working?" "Yes." "For the next few days?" "Yes." "Okay, just let me go into the changing room for a moment," he said as he grabbed the suit before heading into the changing room. After a few minutes, Shirou came out wearing a black tuxedo with a white dress shirt, black leather shoes, a black butterfly bow tie, and fake black bunny ears. "How do I look?" Ruler Arturia smiled. "You look amazing, Shirou." "Why, thank you, Arturia. Now, can you show me where the bar is?" Shirou asked. "Yes," Ruler Arturia said as she and Shirou left the dressing room. As they left the dressing room, Shirou noticed the number of servants playing on the slot machines and gambling on the tables were a lot. Wow, the number of servants playing in the casino. Guess some servants think of this as their personal heaven. Eventually, Shirou and Ruler Arturia arrived at the bar. As they arrived, Ruler Arturia gave Shirou instructions on how to do Tristan's job. Okay, since you're taking over Tristan's job for a few days, let me give you the basics for how it works. You just have to make drinks for the patrons, and that's it. If you don't know what the recipes for some drinks, check the bottom of the cabinet over there, he said as he pointed to a corner cabinet which included recipes for drinks. Got it? Yeah. I can handle this, Shirou replied. Good. Now if you will excuse me, I need to go back to dealing the cards at my table, Ruler Arturia said before she left, leaving Shirou alone at the bar. Alright, since I'm at a bar, might as well start to wash the glasses. He thought as he prepared to grab the glasses, and started washing the glasses. However, before he could do so, a certain servant came up to him. Huh. I would have never expected to see you here, kid, a certain voice said. Shirou turned around to see who it was. See you, he said. Yup. It's me, kid. What? Never expected to see me here, he said with a grin on his face. Yeah. I never knew that you would enjoy gambling, Shirou replied. Nah. I'm only here for the great booze that the bar here offers. Figures. Shirou thought as he let out a sigh. Anyways, I don't see the regular bartender around. Is he gone for today? Yeah. Master needed him for a few days or so. Figures. Anyways, kid, can you make my usual? And what would be your usual here? Lancer See You smiled. An Irish coffee, with heavy loads of whiskey in it. Shirou sighed. Man, See You really loves his liquor, especially when it comes to Irish drinks. He thought. As you wish. Shirou then procked to grab a mug from the counter and filled it with hot water. He then emptied it and added hot coffee up until 3/4th of the cup was filled. He then grabbed some brown sugar, stirred it until it dissolved, and blended it with heavy loads of whiskey in it. Finally, he topped it off with a spoon of whipped cream and doused it on top of it. He then placed the mug on a small plate and gave it to Lancer See You. Here is your Irish coffee, sir, Shirou said. So, it appears that you know how to make drinks, kid, good. But, how's the taste? Lancer See You thought as he sniffed it like a hellhound first, before taking a sip of the Irish coffee. However, as he took a sip of it, he was overwhelmed by how good the flavor was, even by his standards. What the hell? This tastes damn great. The kid sure knows his drinks, he thought as he downed the whole thing. After a few seconds of downing the whole mug, he said, Kid, you sure know how to make a damn good drink. With a grin on his face. So. Yes. You're good here, See You said as he grabbed some QP. Here. Keep the change. Consider it your reward for satisfying me. He then left the bar stand, leaving Shirou alone. Wow, See You can be quite serious when it comes to alcohol, apparently. Shirou thought as he was appalled from the behavior See You just displayed from drinking Irish coffee. As time passed, more patrons came over to the bar Shirou was working at, and he was working with multiple orders from multiple patrons. And he enjoyed it. After what seems like an eternity of serving drinks to other patrons, Shirou felt like he could take a small break and was cleaning up some of the glasses from the earlier rush. You know, you seem to be having fun here, a voice said. Shirou turned around to see where the voice came from. It was Merlin, who happened to be wearing a tuxedo. Merlin, Shirou stated. Hi there, Shirou. How's Tristan's job? Merlin asked with a smile on his face. Well, it's quite interesting. I never knew that Tristan was a bartender. Hey. Me neither, well, until now that is. Yeah. Speaking of which, where is Arturia? HM? Oh, she's probably dealing cards at her table right now. And the rest of the knights? HM. Lancelot and Gawain seems to be at the tables being card dealers. Mordred is going around to make sure that there are no perverts around the casino. Bedivere seems to be responsible for the reception at the desk, and Gareth is probably entertaining the guests. I see. And you? Me? I'm just playing around, Merlin said with a smile. Figures. Shirou thought. Anyways, I never knew you're this good at being a bartender. Did you have experience with this before? Merlin asked. Kind of. I used to have a part-time job at a bar before, Shirou replied. I see. Anyways, keep up the good work, Shirou. Merlin said in a joyful tone while leaving the bar. Shirou sighed at what Merlin just said. Sometimes, I will never get Merlin, he muttered as he headed back to work. As the next few days passed on, Shirou had to add one more thing to do in his daily routine. And that was taking care of Tristan's shift in Casino Camelot. While he didn't mind taking up Tristan's job, there was a slight factor he didn't encounter for. And that was how much interaction the job had. For example, one time when he was on the job, he saw chatting with Ishtar, who happened to be at the casino just to earn more QP and jewels. It was then that during the chat that Astria came in and asked Shirou to be her butler after his job was over, making Ishtar mad and prompting a fight between the two. It was when that ruler Arturia came in to stop the fight. While Shirou was glad that ruler Arturia came in to stop the fight before it could even get any worse, it didn't make things even easier when ruler Arturia was holding on to Shirou's arm, prompting jealousy from both Ishtar and Astria. Eventually, both Ishtar and Astria left the premises of the casino, not before Astria muttering softly, "Wonder Shirou would notice me if I were wearing a bunny suit," making Ishtar yell at Astria immediately. Shirou thought if he heard Astria say that, but quickly dismissed that as he quickly went back to work. Another thing that he did not expect was the number of patrons that kept coming to the bar afterwards. Apparently, Siyu told several of the patrons that Shirou's bartending skills were good, which prompted a flow of customers to the bar, and it increased Shirou's workload by a ton. Not that he didn't mind, but it was starting to influence Shirou's body. And after a few days of covering Tristan's job, today was the day Tristan was finally coming back. Well, from what I heard from Da Vinci, Tristan is apparently coming back today. Well, that's great. Shirou thought as he was cleaning up some glasses while the rest of the knights were closing for today. As Shirou cleaned the last glass, he then placed it on the countertop and closed the bar for today. He then walked out of the bar while trying to find a place to rest. As luck would have it, there was a bench he could take a nap on. He then laid down on the bench. Man, I would have never expected today to be this tiring, but at least today is the last day, Shirou thought before he fell asleep. However, as he was sleeping on the bench he was on, he didn't notice that he attracted ruler Arturia, Mordred, Gawain, Lancelot, Bedivere, Gareth, and Merlin. And they were looking at him. Shirou, you must have overworked yourself again. Maybe it was a bad idea asking you to do Tristan's job, ruler Arturia said with a sigh as she saw Shirou sleeping. Wow, I've never seen mother this exhausted before, Mordred said. Do you think we may have put a huge burden on our queen? Gawain asked. I think so, Lancelot said as he was worried. Oh, what have we done? Relax you guys. He's just taking a nap, Bedivere said. There's nothing wrong with that. But still, Gareth said. It's just as Bedivere said. Us servants can take a break occasionally too. Shirou's just doing a part of his duty too. You do have a point, Merlin. But still though, Gawain said as he continued to look at Shirou. Mordred sighed. Anyways, the casino is closing up soon, so what are we going to do? For a moment, there was silence as everyone was trying to figure what to do with Shirou. They couldn't just leave him in the casino after all. Eventually, ruler Arturia broke the silence. "I'll be carrying him to his room," she said. "You will, my liege?" Lancelot asked. "Yes. After all, isn't it a king's duty to take care of the queen?" Ruler Arturia said. Merlin was giggling at what Ruler Arturia said. "Sure is. Anyways, I hope that you will take care of him, if you know what I mean," he said in a teasing tone. Ruler Arturia blushed at Merlin's statement. Anyways, just leave Shirou to me. The rest of you move on ahead and wait for me outside." "As you wish. Now come on, you guys. Let's go," Gawain said. He and the rest of the knights were heading towards the entrance. "Hey brother, what does Merlin mean by take care of him?" Gareth asked. Gawain inwardly groaned. "That is something I will tell you later," he replied. Ruler Arturia then picked up Shirou and carried him bridal style. She then left the casino, allowing the knights to lock up the doors to the casino. Ruler Arturia, the Knights of the Round, and Merlin went their separate ways as Ruler Arturia was carrying Shirou to his room bridal style. As they arrived at Shirou's room, Ruler Arturia laid him down on his bed and covered him with his bed sheets. As Ruler Arturia looked at Shirou sleeping, she thought, "Shirou looks so peaceful when he's asleep. Speaking of which, it's already this late and I am getting tired." Ruler Arturia continued to look at Shirou sleeping. Eventually, she got tired and she then went under the bed covers and gave Shirou a hug, pressing her breasts and one of her arms against his arm while covering his chest with her other arm and her head on his shoulder. "This feels nice," she thought as she fell asleep as well with a blush and a smile on her face. The next day. "Oniai-chan. It's morning already. Wake up," Ilya yelled from the other side of his room. There was no answer from the room. "Oniai-chan. I'm coming in if you don't mind," she explained as she entered Shirou's room. As she entered the room, she noticed a giant human-sized lump on the bed. She assumed it was Shirou and proceeded to pull the covers off. "Oniai-chan. Wake up," she exclaimed as she pulled the covers off. However, when she pulled the covers off, she received a surprise she didn't expect. And that surprise was in the form of Shirou and Ruler Arturia sleeping together. It was at that moment that Ilya's mind exploded and she let out a scream, waking up Shirou. "What, Ilya?" Shirou said as he heard the scream. "Oniai-chan, what were you doing with that woman?" she exclaimed as she was getting angry. Shirou was confused, until he heard a moan next to him. "MNNNH. Shirou? What's going on?" Ruler Arturia moaned as she was waking up. What? How did I wait?" "Ilya. It's a misunderstanding, okay? Calm down and let's just dash," Shirou explained as he tried to calm Ilya down. Sadly, Ilya was blinded by too much rage to calm down. You dirty pervert," Ilya exclaimed. And she proceeded to give him a huge slap. "Why?" Shirou exclaimed in pain.